Vicki, how you doing?
Great. How about you?
Doing okay. I'm doing all right. I'm getting a little audio issue when you speak into your microphone. So if
Okay.
I ever might have to get you to repeat yourself, it's kind of clipping out every now and then.
Oh, it's clipping out. I'm so sorry
So
to hear
that's
that.
okay. That's okay. We're good. I'm gonna lip read today.
Great. So I have so many burning questions, but I'm going to start with this one.
It
Do
isn't
you
mine.
have any fun childhood stories that you can share with us, John?
All right, say that one more time. You literally cut out like halfway through. I'm so sorry.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe that. I've never had anyone tell me that while recording. So that's a shame. I'll repeat myself for you.
Thank you.
Some fun childhood stories, John.
Some childhood stories.
Yes.
Gosh, I grew up on a. I grew up. I'll tell you one story that's really kind of funny to me. Just happened the other day, is I played in my hometown, which I've
Oh,
never done. I came from this little community called Chester, Virginia, which is just south of Richmond, Virginia. And if you go
sweet.
even smaller than that, my neighborhood, my area is called Enon. So I'm in
Ooh,
Enon, Virginia. No one's from Enon, Virginia.
no,
That's like
no.
nowhere. It's the middle of nowhere, sandwiched between Petersburg and Richmond, Virginia. And we had a show, a Micky Dolenz show there, not what 2.5, 3 weeks ago,
Oh my
in
gosh, in your
the town of
hometown.
Hopewell, and it was so in my own hometown. In my whole life, I was like, I never thought I'd be back playing. I'd always hoped I would. I just never knew when or how. And sure enough, Micky booked a gig there, and we went back.
Yes.
And I had told all my buddies, I've been working for these guys for 15 years, some of them
Mhm.
that long, and I
Yes.
talk about, yeah, I grew up on a highway, a 4-lane highway, next to my grandparents. We had a little mini, I always call it like a hobby farm. We didn't
Okay.
live off the farm, but my dad, we had crops and we had animals,
Fun.
and it was a great upbringing. But we were all by ourselves. We're out on the highway and surrounded by woods, and I'd have animal trails. I go hike during the day, and I grew up like anybody in Virginia, any boy in Virginia. I just spent all day in the woods, and my mom would
Yes.
have me come home when it was dark.
Ah.
And the picture that they would paint in their head after all these years is that I grew up like with stills in the backyard, out in the woods, and revenuers around the corner, and
Yeah.
Civil War embankments all over the place. And so they
Right.
show up, and we stayed at a hotel
Oh my gosh.
that was 500 or 600 yards from the site of my old house, which was, it's like
Oh.
John Cougar Mellencamp. It was interstate, ran through the backyard, took our house. So we had to
Yes.
move. So we were like on the other side of the interstate in this little hotel. And I said, yeah, I grew up like right over there.
Oh my gosh, I
And they were like,
love it.
there's a Wendy's there, and we're in a hotel.
Sweet.
And I'm like, yeah, well, none of this was here when I grew up. It was
Wow.
just a road,
Of
and I had to
course.
ride my bike, a mile down the road to get to the first buddy that I knew. And
Yeah.
but I grew up playing music. My grandfather was a musician. He wasn't a
Ooh.
professional musician. I mean, a musician. There's stories about him going and playing in Marion, Virginia, which is that little, like the toe of Virginia when you
Ah,
look at the state, going to Tennessee and northern North Carolina. And
okay.
he would do gigs, but I don't know.
Really?
I can't. I mean,
Please.
I never talked to him about it, so I don't know. I don't know how true any of that is, but I know he had a fiddle. My cousin has the
Yes.
fiddle. I have one of his dobro guitars. So I
Wow.
used to strum his guitar, and he had books, and I'd read along at the book. And then I started
Sweet.
playing cello in middle school, and I learned how to read from that. And then eventually at 14, I wanted to be like every other boy. I wanted to be Gene Simmons. So of course I had to start
Yeah,
playing bass, and that's
like
it.
every other boy.
That's it. Yeah. So here we are today. It led to this crazy career and
I
crazy life.
I love it. So it's in the DNA.
I think so. I'd like
Yeah.
to think so.
Yes. Oh, that's
My
beautiful.
dad would say that it skipped a generation, but I don't know. And my brother plays guitar. He actually plays in bands back in where we're from. And
Okay.
he sat in that night at the Beacon Theater in Hopewell. He actually sat in
Really?
and played Johnny Be Good
Oh,
with
he did?
Wayne Avers, our musical director, brought him up. So that was a lot of fun. You'll see that. That's like I think it's on YouTube and
Oh my
Facebook.
gosh. I gotta see it. And
Yeah, it's very cool.
that's the song, of course, that
Yeah,
got Micky Dolenz the gig.
exactly right.
Good.
And it got Scott Billings up on stage with his brother, so that was
Wow.
cool.
That's amazing. I love that so much. Oh, that's beautiful. So tell me, when did you first know that you wanted to be a professional musician?
I got a job. I got a job
Ooh,
playing music when I was 16 years old. I
really?
worked at a theme
Wow.
park in Virginia called King's Dominion.
Ooh,
And it's one of those weird theme parks. Like they have a miniature 1/3 scale model of the Eiffel Tower, which is,
ooh.
even at a third, it's giant. And they had shows.
Yes.
And my
Giant.
mom saw in the newspaper that they were holding auditions
Oh,
for the next
mama.
season of shows from spring. Yeah, mama did it all.
Right.
Spring, summer, and fall. And I
Wow.
drove. I was 16 years old. I had just gotten my license not too long ago from at that point,
Okay.
and it was snowing. And the day of the auditions, it was snow on the ground. And my parents like, I don't feel good about you driving at
Of
16 in the snow. You've got to
course
go 40
not.
miles to
Yeah,
this theme park that's off the interstate. You barely
right,
even ride on an interstate yet.
right.
And the last minute, they're kind of like, just go, give it a try. And I went and I
Ooh.
auditioned. I got a job. I
Wow.
got a
I
job at
love it.
16 working at a theme park, which to a
Oh,
kid who'd been going to that theme park since he was
yes.
little,
Right.
it was a dream come true
A
for me.
dream come
And
true.
I got paid. I got paid, and I
Yes.
do 6 days a week, five
Oh,
shows a day, 4 or 5 shows a day.
sweet.
And I ended up doing that for 3 summers in a row.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I was hooked. I was hooked the first
Yeah,
when the first paycheck came, that was it. I was like, "Oh, I can
yeah.
make money doing this."
I bet.
And even then, I think I was $300 a week. Was
Sure.
probably what I was making, but I
Yeah.
was 16. I was like,
Right.
"This is
That's a lot of money for a kid back in those
yeah."
days.
I was having a blast,
Uh-huh.
and I was working with other people. Now I was a kid. I was the
Right.
youngest, but everyone else was like 20 and up,
S
and most of the band were all in, uh, college. They were collegiate musicians in jazz programs. The
Sweet.
guitar player was like a
Ah,
Washington, D.C. Fixture. He was a guitar player around D.C. and funk
nice.
bands, and so I'm going from you know listening to Yes and
Uh-huh.
Rush and Kiss and Aerosmith,
Yes.
and of course I'm in Virginia, so Southern rock is
Yeah.
that's all I ever hear when we're growing up.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, it went immediately into Prince, Rick James, Cameo,
Oh,
Stanley Clark, and I went down. They brought me like they raised me. That's what I always tell them. They tell
oh,
me that they raised me,
sweet.
brought me into this whole R&B and jazz world.
Wow.
And still to this day, I think one of the biggest bass influences that I ever had came from the first 2 years of doing that job was the keyboard player.
Really?
And Lucy Kirkpatrick is in
Oh,
Richmond, Virginia,
that's
and she
beautiful.
plays bass with her left hand on keyboard. So half the time, bass players aren't on the gig, which I'm
Oh
sure
my god.
ticks them off terribly. But
Wow.
she would play bass lines, and I mean,
Wow.
it's like every day was a master class for me,
That's
and
amazing.
some of it sunk in.
Yes,
For a dumb
yes.
kid I
Oh,
still got a Farrah Fawcett Majors poster on the wall at home, living with my parents. And so
uh-huh.
that's when I knew I was making money doing it, and I knew I could keep it going. And I got nothing but encouragement from the people that I worked with
Yes.
and the people that in the band and the show and also management. It was all making sense. It all made a lot of sense.
Yes. Oh, how incredibly profound. I love that story. It's just beautiful. So tell me, do you have any funny tour stories that you can share with us?
That I could share. That's the operative word. I
Right.
mean, we all have fun. Everybody in
Uh-huh.
Mickey's band, we've known each other for so long. We're all very,
Mhm.
very close.
It's
So
beautiful.
there's a level of pranking that goes on, and
Yes. Pranking.
yeah, there's some pranks, and not a lot, but a little because we're old now. We get our feelings hurt really easy.
Uh-huh. You're not
Um,
old. What are you,
I'm
40?
58 years of age.
You are not
Oh
58.
yeah,
I
oh
thought you
yeah.
were my eldest son's age, 43.
No, no, no. Oh no, no. That's very nice of you to
Oh,
say
of
that.
course. I was trying to figure out how you knew who Farrah Fawcett was because you're too
Oh my
young for
god.
that.
I even had a Christy McNichol poster on the
Oh, you
wall,
did?
and she's, that's how old I am, man.
I
I tell
love
you.
it. I love it.
But we have fun on the road. I think the most fun that we do you're looking for funny.
Yeah.
Funny. Oh my god, I wish I had thought of something before we got here because my brain is slowly ramping up.
It's all
I mean,
good.
the goofiest thing that happened lately was on this last run, Mickey does this shtick with our drummer Rich, where he goes, he always says like, "I showed Rich everything he knows. Show him that lick, Rich." And then Rich plays a terrible drum fill that sounds like a caveman, and then he falls backwards and falls off the drum set. And it's mildly humorous. We
Yeah,
always dig it.
that's
And
adorable.
he started showing up. Mickey was making a big deal that, "Oh, you got to do the fall, because
Yeah, the
he fell
fall.
one time, and we
Uh,
thought it was funny."
yeah.
So Rich would get to these theaters and he would go, "Do you have like some couch cushions in the back that I can put behind me so when I fall, it won't hurt?"
Right.
And we went to this theater it was in Delaware, and they
Nice.
were very professional, very, we're a union, we're going to do this right.
Yeah.
So they went out and got a giant queen size blow up mattress and built out the
Ooh.
stage. They spent like 45 minutes on it.
Oh my
We were
gosh.
laughing about it. Rich was
Yeah.
like, "No, I'm just couch cushions and just right behind me." They brought out another like 10 by 10 stage platform and balanced it out and then blew up the thing and then tested
Oh my
that was
gosh.
funnier than anything.
That
And so
is.
Rich, sure enough, he falls back on this giant,
Yeah.
it's literally like this tall. So he really
Right.
just falls back about this far, lays on the cushion.
That's
And
hilarious.
at the end of the show, I'm looking at Amin, our guitar player on the other side, and I go, "You and I need to fall. We need to go up there and just fall backwards too."
Yeah.
So I run up on this platform, and Amin changes his mind at the last minute,
Oh my
and
god,
then so I'm up
no.
there by myself, and I just leap back and fall on the couch, and then it's inflatable, so I bounce.
Oh
And I bounced off to the side of this new stage that they built for Rich,
oh my
and
god.
it was funny. I fell on my knees. I got up, patted Rich on the back, and jumped down, and that's it. And the internet was a Twitter with, "Are you okay? Oh
Of
my God, you
course.
fell, and
Of
are you
course.
injured?" And
Right.
and I was like, there's a mattress. Look really carefully. You could
The
see it." And
mattress.
I survived that incident. I'm
Yes.
okay. It was
Yes.
planned. So
Oh my gosh.
that went terribly wrong in that sense. The whole world thinks that I'm a
Uh,
old man that can't have balance issues anymore. But
right.
we have fun traveling, and we goof on each other all the time, and
Oh my gosh.
and uh and just being around Mickey's always a blast.
Yes, of
Him out with him is always
course.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, so what do you like most about touring with Mickey?
Uh, I like the way we do it now. It's pretty small. It's low key.
Mhm.
Um, Mickey sometimes will skip a day between shows
Okay.
just so we could travel and have a day. Traveling is not a day of rest, but just a day that
Yes.
we can go to the next destination, get
Right.
dinner, and go to bed, and we're not having to worry about getting ready for a show.
Of course.
And just meeting people, going. I've never gotten tired of seeing new places.
Yeah.
I love to travel. I love to go. Unfortunately, when you're in this business, it's any business. Anybody who travels for work,
Yes.
they don't get to see the place they're visiting much. You get a
Right.
little glimpse of it. Usually it's the airport, hotel,
Of
work
course.
site,
Yes.
airport, out.
Right.
But every now and then I get really lucky and we plant in a place for a while and I can get out and explore.
Um,
And it doesn't have to be a big sexy town. It can
yeah,
be I have small towns.
sure.
Every now and then I get really lucky where we're our proximity of our hotel is in a place where I can get around, or I can get an Uber easily, or we'll rent a
Yes.
car. Sometimes we'll just rent cars and just go do something for the day.
Right.
That's probably my favorite thing to do.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, you got to see the world, man.
Right, you gotta see the world, and I was so blessed that we were actually at the same hotel you were, the Crown Royale
God, I think I
in
was a little hungover when you saw
So
me in the lobby.
hungover. Good. But it was a blessing, such a blessing to run
Yes,
into you there, and then that
oh,
was my dear friend Susie Nasworthy.
that's right.
She was facing you. I was not. I would never have seen you. I'm at my table. She's like,
Susie
"Oh
was so sweet.
gosh, there's the bassist from last night's concert with Micky. There he is." I was like, "Oh, come on, right?" So turn around, there you are, right you, hug you, ask you to be in my show, and you graciously agreed.
Of course, would love. I'm very excited you had me on here, and
Oh,
I'm surprised you didn't see like little Tweety birds flying around my head that morning. I was trying to find coffee before we left, and I was just I was obliterated from
oh,
the night before.
oh, bless your
Traveling
heart.
show,
Of
probably a few
course.
cocktails.
Yeah,
Stayed up too late, got up too early,
but you
struggling to
enjoyed
get
it.
down to the lobby.
Of course, but you had fun and you're living your best life.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes, that's
Why
beautiful.
else do this? It's not for the money,
Right,
believe me.
money. No, I bet you differ there.
Yeah, just a
Yeah,
touch.
yeah. I do this for the money, trust me.
Exactly. So we all do this because we want to do
Yes,
this.
right, exactly. But what I do for the money is I'm an editor. So when you're ready to do your life story, I'm a
Okay.
ghostwriter. I'm a
I
ghostwriter.
didn't know that. All right.
Yes, yes.
Excellent.
And you just tell me the story, I write it for you,
I
and
love that.
we go from there. Okay, so
I
just keep
love
that in
that part.
mind.
You
Yes.
I don't have to write it. This
You
is great.
you don't have to write it. You can write parts of it. It depends what you wanna do, but it
This will
sounds
be
like you'd rather
here. Here I
delegate that
go.
to me.
Dear Vicky, it all started. Oh,
There you
backspace,
go. There you
backspace,
go.
backspace. That would be
Yeah, check
that'd
out
be
my
how my book would go. Oh, dang, backspace,
yeah, but
correction.
you wait till I get my hands on your work, and it will
Ah,
be a bestseller, I promise you. So my, website is stjamesediting.com,
all right,
okay?
we should all make note of that. It needs to pop
Yes,
up on the screen.
there you go, stjamesediting.com. Okay, so let's talk more about you, John. What
Yeah.
would you say is your personal mission statement?
Oh my God. Be a good dad, be a good husband, be good to my family, look after them, be the I'm kind of become in a weird kind of way, I'm the patriarch of the family. So be a
Yes.
good man
Oh,
and be
beautiful.
solid human and a good entrepreneur with my wife. And then it's everything
Yes.
else.
Yes, there you
Yeah.
go. And how many children do you have?
I've got 4. I have 2, Amy has 2.
Oh my
So we
god.
go from 19 to 33, and
Wow.
then, our oldest has, our grandkids who are 6 and 3, Hudson and Harper, who we saw Harper yesterday, she graduated kindergarten.
Oh, sweet. I love that.
It was so much fun, she was so awesome.
I
But
bet it was.
your mission changes, your mission statement changes through your whole life,
Of course it
and at the
does.
stage that I'm at now, that's the thing that is the priority.
Yes.
And the business with Amy that we have that's our future. So that gets
Yes.
so much attention from us. But
Yeah.
our family is taking care of the kids and the young ones, especially the 2 youngest, are still trying to figure out college and what they're doing in life.
Yeah.
So they need a lot of love and attention. And then the 2 older ones just need the support and cheerleading and
Yeah.
babysitting.
Of
You know,
course. You are so blessed.
yes,
Just
yes, I
enjoy
am. I'm
them.
very blessed. I'm very fortunate.
Yes, enjoy them. So tell me, you'd mentioned an influence. Who do you count among your greatest influences in life?
It's probably some of my peers that I work with
Nice.
it's with music. It's definitely like guys like Victor Wooten and Keith Horn and
Oh,
Reggie Wooten. There's a whole community of guys
yes.
that I grew up with in Virginia that have
Nice.
gone on to keep playing music, and those guys were probably my biggest influences. They brought me closer to I always go closer to the unknown, like because when I was a
Yeah.
young guy and I'd see these amazing bass players and or amazing musicians of any kind,
Yes.
it was such a leap from where I was to where they were.
Right.
And if you're listening, yeah, I'm listening to records and moving the needle back and trying to figure things out and
Yeah.
clueless.
Yeah.
But these guys that I grew up with and came up with were the intermediaries. They brought me to that point. Excuse me, they showed me the path, or they were
Yes.
so amazing themselves that I was able to make
Right.
make leaps of like, okay, now I can understand this because it's a little closer to Jaco Pastorius, it's a little closer to
Yes.
Stanley Clark and Marcus Miller and this whole
Yes.
plethora of bass players that I used to love to
Mhm.
listen to, Mark King, and
Oh
I mean,
gosh.
and guys that you wouldn't know that are just like hometown hero dudes that are just
Yeah.
incredible, but no one will ever know who they are. But
Right.
I was lucky enough to get to see some and be around them.
Okay.
Excuse me. But that was those guys are they're they're the ones that kind of brought me along. And then eventually when I moved to Los Angeles when I was 20, I got to actually meet and hang out and sometimes play with some of my own heroes that I listened to back in the garage as a teenager. And so those guys, meeting those influences at that point were I mean, that's just like that's stuff that still gets me excited.
Yes, of course. I love it so much. And let's segue a little bit into Nashville Jam Session.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it because I know the Wooten clan has been there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. I mean, they love your shop, so that's a nice segue. So let's talk about your shop. I love books, and I noticed you've got some fabulous books.
We have a
There's
few. Yeah,
yeah.
we have only well, we try to keep everything Nashville.
Mhm.
So it's either Nashville artist,
Yeah.
writer, or Nashville story.
Yes.
So we've got Joseph Wooten's book. Um,
You
I Met Her, You
do?
Met Her. Yeah, we have his book.
Oh,
We have Paula
yay.
Blackman's book, which is an incredible, in-depth story of like the R&B scene in Nashville, which no one talks about.
Neat. I
Jimi
love
Hendrix was
it.
part of it, and there's a
Yes.
lot of civil rights history in the book. There's a
Oh,
lot of
yes.
there's good guys and bad guys. It's an amazing story,
Yes.
and also I'm hoping I shouldn't even be saying this now, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
hoping I'm going to get Nashville writer Rod Rod Henry. I'm sorry, Rod Taylor is. I know two Rods. This is
It's
confusing
all
me.
good. It's all good.
Rod Taylor is finishing a book up on bass player Chuck Fields. Chuck Rainey.
There you go.
It's too early for me. I talked to him a couple of nights ago, so we're gonna have since he's a Nashville-based writer, we're gonna have that book in, and Chuck is an amazing,
I love
incredible bass player that's been on everything. If you
sweet.
go on uh, go on the interwebs, you'd be
Mhm.
amazed what he was on. One of the first things I could think of that you would know him from is he's the bass player on Sanford and Son. And the opening,
Really?
that dip boo, bip
Oh my
boo,
gosh, that is so
that
cool.
funky bass,
I
that's
love
him,
it.
man. And so we'll have
How
Chuck's book, I hope in a
yes.
month or 2, and we're
Ooh,
trying to work out he's coming through town again,
nice.
and we've done this in the past where we have people come through the airport, we're in the airport, so we schedule signings, meet and greets.
Yes.
We have a tiny space, but we can accommodate, a few people at a time coming in, and they can meet Chuck, they can meet the author, they get their book signed, get a
Oh,
picture, then hit the road and go to the gate,
yes, yes. That's really
I'm very
exciting.
excited about that. And we have, we can't compete with the bookstore down the way because they're a
Of
bookstore.
course.
That's what they
Sure,
do.
of
But we
course.
try to support, Amy's mission statement from the beginning was to support Nashville artists,
Oh,
writers,
wow.
stories of Nashville, and trying not to lose these stories and lose these amazing people to the new Nashville's coming.
Yeah,
We can't stop it.
right.
It's a rock rolling down the hill at us. We
Yes.
don't want to forget where we came from and forget the
Right.
people that brought us there. And
Yes.
sometimes what Amy's favorite thing to do in life is to
Oh,
take somebody who has no idea who they're standing next
oh,
to and go, "Do you
uh-huh.
know who you're standing next to?
Oh my
Do you
god.
know
Yeah.
who that person is?" That's, the band Lit always comes by and comes into the store, and they come and hang out and say hi to everybody. We had
Yes.
Ian from Judas Priest, but actually we know the guitar player,
Yeah.
and he brought him by. Swung him by, took a picture, and just sent me his phone picture. Like, look who was
Oh,
in your store.
yeah.
Amy loves to do that and go,
Oh,
you don't even know who you're standing next to. So we had the
right.
voice of Elmo was there, not 4 days
Ooh.
ago,
What?
and we couldn't get him on camera. He didn't feel good about doing Elmo's voice on camera. So
Yeah.
what he did is my manager kind of turned his phone around like this. Said, "Okay, say something." And he says,
Oh.
"Hi, John and Amy," but it's Elmo's voice. And you're like,
Yes. Yes.
this is happening. Amy she likes to make that happen. She likes to
Oh,
make that happen for people to go. You don't even realize that when you go through the airport and you see that band,
yeah.
who the guys are in the band. They don't seem like anybody you would know,
Right.
but
Yeah.
this guy works for the Monkees.
Right.
That girl works for
Yes.
this artist. This
Yeah.
guy works for so and so, and everybody you see in the airport on stage is typically, as a road dog, and this is just they
Yes.
love to play in the airport. It pays
Right.
great. It's a good gig.
Yes.
Or if you're in the store, she'll go, that's Guy Gilchrist. He's the cartoonist for the Muppets for Jim Henson, and
Oh,
so her
yes.
story is to tell the story of Nashville and all the cool stuff about it. So anyway, I know I just
How
blabbed on and on.
how profoundly beautiful. How did you meet your beautiful wife?
Oh my God, just barely. That's how. Just
Really?
barely. We were bouncing
Ooh,
around in orbits,
okay.
and we knew all the same people, but we never met. And
Really?
And we had both gone through divorces. We're single, wild and free. We're out there in the
Yep,
world.
wild and
And
free.
I knew her sister. Her sister is a drummer, and I worked a gig with her.
Oh,
And so I knew her sister,
yeah,
and I had reconnected with her sister in Denver at a gig, at a Monkees gig. I think Michael's there. It was one of the Mike and Micky shows.
nice.
And
Wow.
I hope I didn't screw that up. I'm terrible when it comes to if it was
It's
Peter or
it's
Mike or
all
whoever.
good. Yeah.
And I saw her then, and I remember saying, she was like, "Well, how you doing in life? You know, you're," and I'm like, "I'm single, and I'm
Yeah.
ready to get out there and meet people." And she looked at her partner and kind of went, "We got somebody for you."
Yes.
And then I never heard of another thing about it. It got dropped. So meanwhile, they're telling Amy, "We've got this guy. You got to meet him. He's
Wow.
so cool, and he's
Wow.
like, he feels like family."
Yeah.
And Amy was less like, "Really? You know, let
Mm.
me see who this guy is." Oh, he's a
Uh-huh.
musician, a bass player, and he's got little kids he's raising. I'm not raising little kids. I'm not doing that.
Aw,
No.
that's
So
funny.
I never heard that word. Never. That was it. That was the end of that. And
Wow.
10 months later, I was on a gig. I worked with a band. It was a tribute to the Carpenters.
Oh,
And the
I love
guitar
that.
player, we were playing in Connecticut at the Wolf's Den, the world's
Okay.
famous Wolf's Den.
Yeah.
And I got a picture with the guitar player, and he said to me, "Hey, there's this girl that comes out and here's our gig. She's a talent buyer, and she's coming
Ooh.
out all the time and seeing our shows. And she's beautiful. Need to meet her." And I was like, "You're not setting me up with anybody. No one sets me up.
Right?
I'm good. We're good here." So just
Uh-huh.
sorry, let me shut that down.
Yeah.
And so I took a picture with him. We put it on Facebook, and we're just like this, you know.
Yeah.
And she saw the photo, and she's like, "Oh, that's that guy, John Billings." And I don't want to do it, but I'll like his picture. I hope it didn't open a can of worms. So that night, I see it. I go, "Oh, look, that's that girl he was telling me about, Amy Billing or
Oh my gosh.
Amy Harris." And so I sent a friend request, and then the next I felt like 5 minutes, a book shows up in my Facebook Messenger, and I look at the
Ooh,
guitar player. I'm like, "Look what you did! Look at this! This chick just wrote a book to me. Way
that's
to go!" And I read it, and the first part of it said, "Hi, John. You don't know me, but I'm Kathy Stamp's sister, Amy." And I went, "That's the
Ooh.
girl. That must be who she was talking about. And she's
Right.
smoking hot and seems kind of
Yeah,
cool. All right."
there you go.
And she stood me up on our first date.
No, she did not.
Totally. Oh my gosh, she jacked me around so hard. She was like, "We're gonna go see my guitar player buddy." And I was like, "Good,
Uh-huh.
neutral meeting environment. We have
Yes.
another friend there. We're going to go see him,
Right?
and we'll make fun of him from the stage and be silly." And then she wrote me before we are gonna go out to this jazz club, Sambuca, and said, "If I don't go, will you go?" And I go, I know. Well, I'm not gonna go that. If you're not going, I'm not going." She
Right.
goes, "I don't feel great, so I'm just blow it off tonight. We'll do this another time." And I was like, "Well, I hear
Oh
that."
my gosh, are you
So, oh
serious?
yeah. So he sends me I get a note like, I don't know, 30, 45, an hour later.
Oh my gosh.
He says, "Hey, are you coming?" I go, "No, Amy says she's sick, so I'm gonna blow off tonight." And he goes, "Well, she's sitting right in front of me. She's sitting here." He's from the bandstand texting me.
Oh my gosh,
So
no.
I was like, I'm
Oh, right.
So I changed. I lived a mile from the club. I got in my truck. I typed out a message, got it all ready to go. And then when I got in the truck and turned the key, I hit send, which was basically I sent it to Amy, said, "You're busted. Matt told me you're there. And here I come. Don't move."
Oh my
And
gosh.
so I was there in, 5 minutes after walking the
Wow.
door. And there she was. And that's how we met the first time. It was pretty cool. It was pretty
Gosh.
magical.
Yes. Note to self, blow them off. It's the success of the
I'm
story.
not,
Just
oh
blow
man. My normal MO would be like, "I'm walking," but I don't know, something told me to go and have
Oh
fun with
yeah,
her and taunt her a little bit.
that's
And,
adorable.
so anyway, that's how we met. And then we
Huh.
had a date. Our first date was wonderful. We went to go see some friends play music. She got me a gig.
Oh, she did?
It was a Journey tribute band, an amazing
Ooh.
tribute to Journey.
Sweet,
And
sweet.
she knew all the guys in the band. I didn't. I knew one or two of them. and
Wow.
she introduced me and said, "You should hire John. He's available. You know, he doesn't travel all the time."
Yeah.
And so next thing you know, I'm going on cruise ships and doing gigs, and
Oh
she's
my
like,
gosh.
"I got you that gig, and I can't even go along."
Wow.
So yeah,
That's
that's a good story about Amy. She got me a gig on our first date.
oh my
That
gosh.
is so typical of her.
That's yes, very others
Oh yeah,
centered. Yes, very others centered, and I love that so much. So tell me, do you have any pet peeves, John? And if
pet
so, what
peeve.
are they?
Pet peeves. uh, I sound like any high school kid. Not nice people. Um,
Right?
mean people.
Uh-huh.
I don't have any pet peeves. I think one of the things I like to do is um, when we travel, and this works itself out. Usually through attrition, it works out.
Okay.
People who don't work out on the road don't work out, and they're gone. You know, they
Yeah,
go on their own accord, or they're
sure.
invited to leave.
Of course.
And I think people who don't travel well, and when I say that, I mean people who are like traveling's difficult for them. They don't sleep right. They're not taking care
Oh,
of themselves. They're not eating
yeah,
right.
yeah,
They're grouchy. They're tired. They're exhausted. They're
sure,
complaining.
of course.
Because playing when you're on stage, what you do is only an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe. The other 22 hours of the day is sitting around looking, staring at each other,
Oh gosh,
or
yeah.
making our way to the next place. So really, a gig is about the people, the chemistry of the people that are on the
Right.
job. And if you've got one or two bad apples, it just makes the whole thing
Of
not
course.
good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you gotta
usually,
divorce them.
well, yeah, exactly. You got to sometimes you
Yeah,
have to divorce them, or
yeah,
sometimes they go and go, "I don't want to do this anymore."
yeah,
And you're like, "You know what? You're right.
yeah.
This is not for you.
There you
No
go.
hard feelings.
Wow.
Um, do something else." So I
Yes.
think pet peeves are folks that are traveling, and playing music that are not really, they don't really want to be traveling, or
Yeah.
not really, they're not empathetic to everybody else. They're not considerate. So
Oh,
that's probably
yeah.
my largest pet peeves.
I can only imagine.
There's a million little ones, but we won't
Yes,
get into that.
of course. Like mean people.
Mean people.
Right. Okay, so do you have a bucket list, John? And if so, what is on that list?
Well, I have yet to play on stage with Nine Inch Nails, but they're going on tour there, so who knows? It might still
Oh,
happen.
yay. I love
I have
that.
my realistic bucket list, which is
Yeah.
over here, and then I
Yes.
have my unrealistic bucket list, which
Okay.
is like really big, and you see
Uh-huh.
that one is all lit up. The other one,
Yes.
the realistic one's not as lit up. It's kind of
Right.
in the dark over here in the corner.
Yes. I love it. 9
But
Inch Nails. It's
it's
gonna
not as
happen. You
there's some
know
artists I would love to play with. I'd still love to
yes.
play with Shaka Khan. That'll never
Oh,
happen because her bass
yeah.
player's incredible,
Oh,
and I think he's the musical director, so he's not going anywhere anytime
yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
But that's always, I used to work with Donna Summer, so I love
Yes.
great R&B singers, and
Mhm.
definitely, Donna was one of my loves in that sense,
Yes.
and Shaka, and I always wanted to play with Shaka. So
Oh,
there's gig
sure.
bucket list that I wish I could obtain.
Of
There's some
course.
venues I still haven't played. I can't think of them right now. Oh, no, seriously, at Red Rocks. Like I've never played Red Rocks, so I
You've
want to
never
play Red
played?
Rocks.
You
Mm-mm.
gotta play there. Oh my
I
gosh.
agree. I am in
Yes.
total agree. So here's what we'll do was when we do my book tour,
Yes,
and I
right.
go, and you're speaking to me on stage, and we're
Yes.
traveling to these venues, and I speak about my very boring
Yes.
life,
Right.
and one of them will be at Red
Not.
Rocks. We'll
And
be
I
at
can
Red Rocks.
also I don't know, I've been to numerous concerts at Red Rocks, and one thing I love about them is they have artists there
Mhm.
that will paint what they feel
Oh,
from the
yeah, yeah.
music, and I'm an artist, I have a BA in, studio painting from the University of Northern Iowa, so I could paint you while you're doing it, so we can do all of that, okay?
Just slim this nose a little bit right
Oh,
there.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
Oh,
slimming in there,
honey,
and
you
these do some of these bags. Can you help me with these bags? I
no.
I have a ton of friends, in the music community. They've all played there. It's like old shoe to them. And Amy and I went with her sister Kathy and her partner, and we hiked it because during the day it's a
Yes,
park.
right,
You can
at
go
a
and you can hike
museum.
it. So we've hiked it. We've gone
Yeah,
out and walked around on stage,
right.
and I'm like, "Oh, I can't believe I've never played this motherfucking place." So that there's some places like that I still want to play. Um, there's not a lot because I've been really, really fortunate and really blessed to have played some
Yes.
crazy places. I played in the Forbidden City
Ooh.
Nobody at that time had done yet. So I was one of the first, acts to go in and get to do that. And I was with
Sweet.
Donna. That was my last show of Donna Summer was in the
Oh,
Forbidden City. We
oh my
actually,
gosh.
our dressing green room was one of the, like the Emperor's kitchens or something
Ooh,
like that.
I love it.
So we got to play Sydney Opera House, and I've done the Beacon in New York, and I've done every place. I've checked them all off except for
Nice.
Red Rocks is like the biggest one. And I mean, it would be really cool to
Mhm.
play um, the not the Gardens in New York City. Yeah, the Gardens, right? Is that where I'm confusing the name
Yeah,
of the venue?
it sounds
There's
right.
an iconic New
Yes.
York venue that like Billy Joel do a residency for a month.
Oh,
Um,
New
and
York.
everyone's the 5 people that are watching this from for me are going,
No.
"Idiot."
Wow,
But
that
anyway,
is so cool.
that's my bucket list stuff. So there's some travel bucket lists that I
Yes.
still wanna go to. I've never gotten to see a lot of other European countries. I've hit the big
Okay.
ones, like I've gone to London and Paris and
Nice.
Amsterdam. Like I wanna go see Czechoslovakia. There's a couple places over there that I probably won't go to for music. It'll just have to be me and Amy going
Yeah,
on a field trip.
right.
I wanna go
Are
to the
all
bottom of South America. I wanna go, all
yes.
until you can't go any further.
Ooh, that would be
Silly stuff like that.
so cool. Have you played the Sphere in Vegas?
No, it's brand new,
Did
and you
you
really, I mean, it's like Eagles or John Mayer,
uh-huh.
it's like, it's
Yep,
so you gotta be so big time, or you
yep,
too.
yes. You are big time. You're so humble. I can't believe
Whatever, girl. I'm
no,
the guy
you are
that parks
humble.
the car, carries the luggage for the artist.
I
That's me.
don't think so. You are incredible. Another one you've played with that I love is Winona Judd.
Yeah, she's a sweetie. She's
Oh,
amazing. I've gotten to hear Winona sing. One brag, I'm gonna give you one
yeah.
brag that I've gotten to stand in the foyer of a castle in
Oh,
Scotland,
no.
hear Winona do Amazing Grace
Are you
with her
serious?
singers, holding hands, eyes closed,
Oh, how
and it
cute.
was, yeah, she's incredible. She really
Yeah,
is. She's the real deal. She's one of the best singers I've ever worked with. She's
right.
strong and powerful, and, when she opens her mouth, man, what comes out is
Yes.
it's incredible.
I saw her in Waterloo, Iowa in 1993,
Ah.
September. You weren't playing with her then, were
No,
you?
I was
No.
living in Los Angeles, like,
Yeah.
hand to mouth.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. Oh, she just was incredible that night. I'll never forget it. So I did buy recently the newspaper article that talked about her show, and it's on my refrigerator so everyone can
Oh,
read it.
good, good.
The original 1993
Yeah.
article, and I was like, "Wow,
She
so
and Cactus
cool."
are amazing people, and I still, like, I will drunk text them now and then, and they
Yeah.
drunk text right back, you know? And she was in
Love
the
that.
store, a few weeks ago. She's been in a couple times. So when they pass through, they'll stick their head in the store, and that's really cool.
Ooh, that's very cool.
Yeah, she freaked out some of our employees, a couple months back. In
Did
a
she
good way,
really?
you know? Yeah,
In a good way.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to come to your store. I have a dear friend who's on scholarship at Belmont University, and
Ooh,
he's very, very talented musician. I've had him on my show several times, and I asked him if he could be on my show now that he's home on summer break. His name is Carter Goosey. You'll want to remember that name. He's going to end up in the Grand Ole Opry, I believe, honestly. He's so talented, but he's like, "Vicki, I'm actually working there. I can't tell you, it's all secret, but there's a movie being made, and I'm afraid if I get on your show right now, I'll something will slip." He's like, "Just wait till the movie is done." But
aw,
isn't that
that's
exciting?
very exciting. And
Yes,
what a way to start out your career, you know?
I know, right? And
And
he's
this is a great
just
town to be in.
yeah, I'm sure, and he's just a kid. He's all of what, 22 at the most, maybe 21. You remember those
Oh, yeah,
days.
I do.
Yes.
I very, very much so. Mine were very different from his because when
Yes.
I was in Los Angeles during that time, and it was a real struggle for all the way around for me as a musician, as a person,
Oh,
everything. But
poor.
for him, for Carter,
Yes, for
he's in a town where every musician is amazing. There's nobody here
God.
that stinks.
Wow.
The bar is as high as it can possibly get.
Yes, of
The
course.
job opportunities are there's not a plethora of them, but they're
Yes.
here, and the
Yes.
opportunity to do more is here, and he's in the
Oh,
right place, and he's getting to see all of it.
Yes.
Getting to see everything.
Ooh, yes, I
That's
love it.
exciting. I would like to live through his eyes for a minute.
I know, right?
Mhm.
Yes, I can't wait for him to watch us on this. He will love this podcast episode. You know what? John Billings, when you will meet him one day, the 2 of
I
you may
will.
even share a stage, and it's just all meant to be. I feel it in my heart.
Young guys don't hire old men to play behind them.
W
They hire other young,
Again,
good-looking guys. So
again,
I'll be the guy that's like, I'll sell him a T-shirt at the store or something. I don't, it'd be like that.
no, no, no.
You don't see geriatrics behind these young guys these days. You know that.
Right? That's pretty good. Do you have any new career-related endeavors, John?
I still dabble in. I've worked in film. I worked in sound for film and television for
Oh,
a little over a decade.
okay.
Um, I put a lot of that on the back burner just because, like I said, I'm putting everything on what Amy and I are doing these days.
Yes.
But one of the endeavors we have, and two. Well, we've shot enough footage for two of them, as we have two shows that we really want to get off the ground. One
Ooh.
is a cooking show. We feature artists on the road, guys like myself who come home and what do you eat when you're at home? We
Yeah,
know on the road you're eating salmon and chicken every
right,
every night of the
right,
week, or you're eating out at restaurants. But when you come home, what are the things you like to do when you come home, and what are the
right.
things you and your wife or your partner will prepare? So that was a show we shot. We shot a couple of things with that,
Wow.
and so I've got to edit. I got to edit together my 30 seconds and 2 minutes and all that kind of stuff. And
Nice.
another show is we had an idea to do one that was about fans,
Ah,
different acts, and
cool.
the level of fandom and the
Yeah,
good, bad, and the ugly, all of it.
all
And
of it.
so we did a bunch of interviews with Monkeys fans. And
Okay,
same thing. I did this like 5-6 years ago. So we'd
okay.
like to get that off the ground and get that shot. So those are
Yes.
film related, TV related endeavors. I'd love to get that launched and get that rolling
Yes.
because I think
That
Amy's hosting these and she's great.
ooh,
She's
I'm
really, really good.
sure she's a
And I'm always better
natural.
on the other side of the camera every single time that I am in front of the camera.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. So when will you play in Iowa again?
I don't know. We still are getting dates for 2026, but not soon
Okay,
enough, obviously.
okay. Yes, not soon enough, obviously.
We do get to Iowa, and I've got a cousin now in Iowa, so I like it's getting great. I'm hoping it'll happen, and then he can come to the
Yes,
show, and you come to everybody
yes,
comes to the show.
yes. So where's your cousin living in Iowa? Do you
That's a good
know?
question. Let me go. I'll tell you right now. Hold on, because
Yes,
this is the craziest thing. He bought a
yes.
church. He bought a church. He was looking for. He's a. Oh, this is getting really crazy now. I'll tell
Yeah.
you all this nutty stuff. He is a paranormal investigator. He's a retired
Really?
air traffic controller for the
What? I
last
love it.
for the last decade. He's been a paranormal investigator.
Wow.
It's not a profession that money making thing, but it's a
Yeah,
fascinating,
so
and
fascinating.
he is all up in it. He actually did his first convention this last weekend where he was a presenter, where he did, he got up on stage and presented
Okay,
his data and
okay.
his findings. So Scott Kenner is his name. You should look
Scott
him up.
Hunter,
And if I'm
yes.
not mistaken, he lives in, is this it? Yeah. He lives in a little tiny little town
Okay,
way, 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 way up at the very tip top of Iowa.
okay.
That's called New Albin. He's right at the border
Really?
of Minnesota and Iowa.
Oh, very
A
cool.
little town called New Albin, and he bought a church, an old church, and he's been restoring it to live in, not to,
Yeah,
we always tease him
right.
called Church of Scott, COS, but
Right, right.
he's actually making it into an apartment
Oh,
downstairs, and
wow.
the sanctuaries. He's left all the pews are there. It's really cool.
Nice.
Amy and I
That
want
is
to take a trip up there. So he's up there. So he's really, he's in that proximity of Minneapolis and
mhm.
all the way around. So yeah,
Wow.
that's where I usually would bump into him, and his partners is up in Minneapolis.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Yes, and I do a lot with the Grout Museum District, and we have old historic homes,
Mhm.
and I do fundraising for them. Wouldn't it be cool if your cousin went in and felt
God,
all the paranormal stuff going on in these houses,
Yeah, he
right?
would totally do that, and he would speak, and, but he's not a sensitive in the sense. I mean, there's things that he hears,
Okay.
like, I think he's just done it so long that
Yes.
he's tuned
Yep.
in more, but
Right.
he's not as sensitive. So he
Okay.
brings his gear, his toy whoa, throwing stuff
Hey.
around. He brings his recorders and
Oh,
sensitive
yeah.
devices that, they're dropping everything here.
It's all good.
And he'll bring his
It's
gear.
it's
So
for
he'll
taking your
capture
stuff.
evidence. I know I'm making a big mess here. He'll bring his stuff, and, he'll have sensors out that pick up static electricity and EMF, which I find the EMF thing fascinating because
Yes.
bands of energy will walk to the room and the little
Right,
detectors will go off.
right.
But he has recordings of voices. The reason he came into my life is because Amy and I were having, our house is haunted, and we didn't know what.
Ooh.
And we were having issues hearing people walking, talking, things moving around.
Oh
And
my
I called my
gosh.
cousin. We were talking one day because we both like, we're fans of that whole all the
Yes,
crazy ghost shows. And I said, I
right,
just think it's really weird. I never thought I'd say this, but there's stuff happening in our house, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't even know if it's real or not, if we're imagining it.
right.
And she said, well, our cousin Scott is a paranormal investigator, and he drives through Nashville all the time. So
Wow,
we reached out to him, and he did an investigation. He stayed overnight,
sweet.
and he came back and presented all this evidence. And it was yeah, one of the weirdest moments of my life is sitting at my kitchen table hearing people speaking into recorders.
Yeah.
And I'm a recording engineer, an audio engineer.
Yes, yes, of
So
course.
that's my wheelhouse outside of
Yes,
playing bass. So
yes.
to be able to hear these files and see how he captured it all, and I was like, well, this is happening.
Yeah.
Whether they're whatever they are, we can argue about that all day long,
Yes, of
but
course.
we can't argue with the fact that there's somebody that's talking into a recorder that he had
Right.
in his hand,
Yeah.
and he's like, he'll put the recorder down, and we'll be having a conversation, and then you hear somebody commenting on our conversation on the recorder. There's nobody else in the house. And so he
Wow.
brought in 70 plus clips for us to hear that he
Oh my
chopped out of a
god.
6-hour investigation. And,
And you
Amy and
still
I
live in this
tried
house?
some of the stuff we didn't hear. Like I hear somebody
Yeah.
say this or that, and
Right,
I'm
right.
not hearing it.
Yeah.
But 35-40% of it, yeah, it's a woman
Wow.
talking, it's a guy talking, it's somebody was breathing at one point. He just sat silently in a room, and he's like, listen to this, and you're like,
Oh my god.
so that's how we met him. And yeah,
Wow.
he opened our eyes to some interesting like what he did was confirm that we're not losing our minds, that there's
Yes,
something going on
right.
in the house. And then we actually got rid of a piece of furniture, and I don't know if that was what it was. It was a
Okay.
pre-Civil War
How
item that we had. We
interesting.
have a bunch of old furniture from my parents and relatives,
Yeah.
and we got rid of this one piece, and everything kind of calmed down. It took a
Good.
while, but it all calmed down. But this was for years. This was going on for 5 years. It came out of nowhere, like it just started
Wow.
happening, and then it just kind of quieted back down.
That's
So
wild.
don't know anything about whys of the house, but
Yeah.
it, yeah, it blew our mind. It still blows my mind.
Yeah.
Every
That's
now
pretty
and then something weird will happen. I'm like, there it is. They
that's pretty wild.
just walked behind me or something.
Do you ever get out your bass guitar and, like, write the soundtrack of your home?
No, I never.
You
You
should
know what? I don't play at home as much as I should be
Oh, you
playing.
should, you should. See what comes from that, right? Yeah,
Exactly,
all
exactly.
right. So where can, it's been such a joy. Will you do this
Uh,
again with me
of course I
someday?
will. Of
Oh,
course
you
I will.
sweetheart. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Unfortunately,
Vicki. Thanks for having me. I'm so glad we got to meet that day, even though I was
yes.
catatonic.
I wish I could be catatonic. I gave up drinking, in my 30s just because it's
You were wise.
empty calories, I
Yeah.
felt, and I'm very much into fitness. I've been a fitness instructor most of my life as well. So I'm
All
like,
poor decisions usually come from a little alcohol
yeah, yeah, poor decisions, and I
or
wanna be
eating.
in control. But then I hear these fun stories, and I'm like, "Maybe I wanna try it again." But no, no.
No, don't do it. I'm a late bloomer. I never drank. I rarely, rarely,
Are you
rarely
s
drank
are
until
you
my
serious?
30s,
That's
and
when
then
I
it was
stopped. We're just the opposite.
I know, and all my buddies are all on the other side of it. They're all like teetotalers now. They had to quit,
Yeah.
or
In
they
high
just
sch in
they
high
pulled it out of
school.
their life, and I'm like, I'm getting going, baby.
Yeah, that's hilarious. In high school, we were all drinking, we had the fake IDs, we did it
Oh
all,
my
and I
god.
just got I had too much of it, let's put it that way. Okay, so where can our viewers find you on the web? And I really want everybody to check out your store in the Nashville
Absolutely.
airport. So where
That's
can
easy, NashvilleJamSession.com. That's
Okay,
our website for our store, and then we're on, Facebook and also on Instagram, so
okay.
I'll post photos to both of those
Yay.
platforms. We do have a TikTok account.
Nice.
Sadly, I don't really engage on it
Yeah,
so much, but we'll if a celebrity comes in or something, I'll usually pop up a picture on Instagram and Facebook, and
okay.
if you just search Nashville Jam Session,
There you
you'll
go.
track us down pretty easily, and then I'm on Facebook and Instagram. My
Yes.
Instagram handle, I think, is Johnny B2U, Johnny,
Okay.
uh, B, the number 2, and U,
Ooh,
which is my old
yes.
moniker from a million years ago.
I
But,
love it.
and Facebook, I've got my friends list is like I'm at the max. So, but you can still follow and reach out to me
Yes.
through there. And I don't have a website. I'm
Okay.
www free.
It's
Not
all
that
good.
interesting to most people. I can't pay for the site for like 12 people a year to check
Right,
in now and then.
right. And then you have an app because I have your app on my phone. So
Which app is that?
the jam
Oh, the Wix
session
app.
Yeah, the Wix app.
I don't even like work on that one.
Oh, are
I
you
s
serious? I've
Is it
got my favorites all
Are you
waiting for me.
serious?
I'm
Wait,
serious.
are you talking about my Wix, like the National
Yeah,
Jam Session page? Yeah,
yes, that is
that's
correct.
so funny.
It's in
That
my phone,
they
yep.
kinda just offer that service. I go, "Yeah, whatever."
Oh, yes. So fun to look at it, and I've got my
Ah,
favorites and yeah.
now I gotta go look at it.
Yeah,
I didn't I don't even know it exists.
that's funny. Yeah, so everybody right now, get your cell phone out, download Nashville Jam Session. Go to your Play Store and just the search bar, Nashville Jam Session,
That's
boom,
crazy.
download it. Yeah, do
I gotta
it
do
happen.
that now.
Make it happen. So, any closing thoughts, John?
Just thank you so much, Vicky. This was such
Oh,
a pleasure. You're such a
my
wonderful woman,
pleasure.
and it was so great to meet you. You never know who you're gonna meet on the road. You never
Yeah,
know how you're gonna do it.
yeah,
It could be in an elevator, it could be at the breakfast
right.
bar in the hotel.
Yes.
And it's always nice. Some of the coolest people I've ever got to meet were when I didn't see it coming, you know?
Right, serendipitous.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yes, yes, alright. Thank you so much, John, and
Thank you.
give Amy a big hug for me.
I will. She's
Alright.
upstairs getting ready for the day.
Oh, she is, bless her little
She
heart.
has her first. Oh, I have something I'm gonna hype. Here it comes. You
What?
ready?
What?
You hear
Yes,
it here
what?
first. Tonight, 6:30 PM Central Standard Time, which of course I know this is later date. But anyway,
Yeah.
she's on her first podcast with it's a podcast called Cup of Joe. Cup of Joe. And
Really?
yes, it's a big deal to her because these are
Oh,
DJs that she grew up listening to, and they invited her to be on their
sweet.
show when they met her at the Micky Dolenz show in Nashville. So they
Really?
found out she's an entrepreneur in the businesses, and she has
Yeah.
a music background. She's a musician, and her mother is a
Oh,
writer. So
wow.
tonight she's going to be on her first podcast as
Yeah,
a guest.
I love it.
Huge, huge news. Look up
Yes,
Cup of Joe,
yes,
find the Amy Don Billings episode, which will probably I'll have watched like a 1,000 times over. I'll be
yes.
bumping those numbers up. You know me.
Right? Oh, that's so exciting, and I'll never forget that name because we have a Cup of Joe in Cedar Falls, which is one of
Okay.
my top favorite coffee shops ever.
That's
So
so
yeah,
cool.
it's amazing, owned by a female entrepreneur just like your wife, Amy. Okay, so enjoy, all right? Thank
Thank
you
you so
so
much.
much,
Thank you,
John.
Vicky.
My pleasure. We'll see you again soon, all right?
Yes, ma'am. I'll see ya.
Okay. Bye.